My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2 and the North East Corridor. Today's episode starts out overlooking the city of Worcester, which is where we focused some of our efforts in our previous episode when we started work setting up the food production service for Worcester. In the end, it ended up being somewhat redundant as Worcester lost the demand for food right at the end as we got everything finalised and ready to go. However, should Worcester suddenly change its mind once again and decide it does like to have some food, then we are ready to go and we can click the go button to all intents and purposes and we can start shipping some food up here into Worcester. In the meantime, however, we need to... oh, well, look at that. Speak of the devil indeed. Worcester has now decided it would like to have food once again. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to pause it this time around so this demand does not drop off. Now, if you remember, we did start supplying a food production factory with some grain. That's all the way up here, and we have two trains, I believe it was two trains, that make these shipments to keep this fully supplied. Let's just check that indeed there are two trains running here. Let's have a look. Grain freight, yeah, we've got the two. As you can see, we have the food freight ready to go, but we have no vehicles assigned to this line. So what we'll do first of all is we'll purchase the train and let it start making its way down to that pickup point. So let's do that right now. So here's the train that I've opted to use. I've got an American, is it 280, 220, I can't remember, 440. Let's check. 440 was correct. And we have the Virginia and Truckee variant of that locomotive. I've only gone with a short train, so we only have 5 cargo wagons on this, simply because starting out, Worcester is only going to need a small amount of food. I'm going to buy 2 trains just for the sake of buying 2 trains, really. It's not very efficient, but there you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to colour those trains, and then we're going to assign them to the food freight New York to Massachusetts. If you recall, it stops on its own platform now, and we also have this terminal ready to pick up the food and deliver it into Worcester wherever it may be needed. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to see where exactly the food is required, and it's up here, as we can see, the single commercial building calling for food. So what we're going to do next is set up a food delivery line for Worcester itself. Just check we don't have one already. No, we don't. Here's all our trucking lines, as we can see. So let's go for a new line. We'll go from here, and what we want to do, we want to guide our truck around this area nicely so we don't have too many conflicts. So we'll come out via that waypoint there. We'll then head up to this waypoint here, and we'll utilise this trucking stop right here on Franklin Street, and then our line should have automatically come back this way to pick up some more. Let's just colour that in the appropriate colour, which is that one, and here we'll have load if available, and we just want to make sure we specify what it is they're going to be loading, and that is of course food. Now we can name this, and this will be the food delivery for Worcester. So following the established naming system, there we go, food delivery for Worcester. To start with, we are not going to need many vehicles for this because, as we know, Worcester's only demanding a small amount of food. So what do we want to use for this? I say we go for the American covered horse-drawn carriage, and we'll start with just the 2. I'm going to give them full maintenance because they will be going into the city of Worcester and noise pollution is a concern, and then we'll assign them to the delivery line. So as we can imagine, the first several deliveries that these make will be completely empty. We need to give these trains time to get all the way down to New York to the food processing plant and then get back with hopefully something resembling a full load of food. So we can leave that going on in the background. There's no need to keep an eye on that any further. What I would like to do today is look into activating this machinery factory right here. As we know, Worcester also demands machinery, as we can see up here, and if you recall, I believe it was Kingston also started to need machinery as well. So we do have a few cities on our network already that could do with some machines. Likewise, we have a few in this area. We have Newark and New Rochelle, and I think that's it for this area that also would like some machines. So the sooner we can get this activated, the better we're going to be. So we have 2 inputs required for this, planks and steel. Fortunately, we have all of those fairly nearby. We could supply this sawmill right here outside of Trenton from this forest, and I think we would just do that with road vehicles. It's not too great of a distance. We also have a steel mill just here outside of Trenton once again. In fact, we have quite a few of them. We can decide which one we want to utilise, but I do think we would go with this one right here. And to supply its demands, which are obviously iron and coal, we have a coal mine here, and another one here. We have an iron mine here and an iron mine here as well. So we've got plenty of options for us to keep this supplied. So let's make a start on that. The first thing we'll do is we'll actually get some road vehicles running down here to start bringing in some of the lumber that they need to turn or to create the planks. So we'll go for the medium-sized country road for the increased speed limit, which is going to be more of a factor later in the game, but we're going to do it now so then it's done and we don't have to worry ourselves and come back and remember to upgrade it, because it's already upgraded. And we'll also upgrade these ones here, which obviously will finalise the routes. Next, of course, we do want an unload point, and I'm going to go for a truck station. We could in theory use a truck unload stop, but I'm going to go with the station. And we're going to go, in fact, is there anything nearby that does require planks? Not as it stands. So we'll go for 1 platform, and we'll have it 30 meters, and we'll offset it from the access road like so. Give it the 2 entrances and exits, so 1 on either side, and of course we need to connect it to our roads, don't we? And there we go, that's all now connected up and we have a working link between the two. I'm just going to rename this from Trenton North to Trenton Sawmill. As always, that's just so we know when we're looking at the line overview what that station is and where it is and what it's doing. We're going to have to do something similar at the lumber camp, the logging, the forest, whatever you want to call it. And once again, in fact, shall we pop it? Can we get a working connection via the station itself? Yes, we can. But we need to make sure we have enough space on this side for the second entrance, like so. And again, nice and quickly, we'll just give this a road connection to our existing infrastructure here. And we'll have this come down, and that can bring in like so. I'm going to put some waypoints here and there, just on the off chance that the AI decides to route the line in some weird and wonderful ways, which it has a tendency to do. So we'll do that just to make sure. We'll cover all eventualities there. Let's just quickly rename this one as well. So this is Trenton Forest, and it would be infinitely more helpful if I could spell that. And it's not even the most challenging spelling on the map. There you go, Trenton Forest. For road depot, we do have one. Oh, where is it? Here somewhere, just there. No, there it is. Looking at the wrong icons. So feasibly we could use that. However, I think I'm going to put one down here by Trenton itself, because chances are eventually we're going to have some bus service in Trenton. So if we have a depot somewhat nearby, we can use that one in the future as well. So let's do a nice simple connection there. Now we can purchase our vehicle. In fact, we can't purchase the vehicles because we haven't set up the line, have we? Getting ahead of myself there. Let's just dial it back a bit. So we're wanting a brown colour scheme here, and we're coming in on that platform out via this waypoint. And what we want it to do is come all the way around, so out in via this waypoint to the sawmill, and it's automatically routed itself nicely around all of there. So we don't need any more intervention on our part. We want these to be fully loaded, and we'd like them to wait as long as that takes, which shouldn't be too long. and they are loading the logs. At the sawmill they will not be loading anything, and they will just be unloading the logs. Don't need to do that, but just for completion's sake we shall. Let's give it an appropriate name, or what we could do is just get rid of it entirely. There it is. So what shall we go for? Shall we have logging haulage, and shall we just call it Trenton? Yes, Trenton. There we go. Now we can purchase our vehicles, and we could go for these ones because these are specialized cargo carriers for lumber amongst other things, but there we go, that's what we're interested in. And how many would we want to have here? I'm going to say 35, just as an arbitrary number. We don't need to worry so much about the maintenance here because they're well away from any residential areas, so we can set them on their way, and that should start producing nicely in the background, and we should start seeing our first loads being populated, and indeed we can. One thing we might want to consider doing, just for the extra cargo capacity, is putting some of these buildings down if we can squeeze them in. So we can squeeze one in on the right, but on the left it's a little bit more restrictive, so it'll just have to be the one for now. And what's that going to do for us? An extra, whatever it is, stock or capacity. Anyway, that's now set up. So now we need to get the planks from here over to the machinery factory just on the outskirts of Queens. I think we'll have a rail link over there, and my plan would be, obviously we'll have a cargo station in this area, but the train line itself, we'd have it run up here, and then it would bridge over this little mouth of water here, come along this little island, and then come over this bit here, avoiding the district of Brooklyn as much as we can. So we'll have a bit of bridge work here and there before then sweeping up into here. This would allow us then in the future to extend our train line to any of these industries should we decide to use them in the future. But for now it's going to get us over to the machinery factory, and it's also going to keep us well out of the way of Edison, Brooklyn, Queens and so forth. Obviously we'll have to skirt relatively close to Brooklyn, but that's largely unavoidable. I mean, we could have a larger bridge that comes up here, aims for this little spit of land here and just runs up there. But I'm trying to balance up the realism of such a large bridge versus having the smaller bridge but run a little closer to Brooklyn. I'm going to opt for option A, which is the lines that come up this way and over there, simply because if we're heading up this way it leaves us closer to this cargo line here, which we are going to want to tap into when we start heading with the machinery up into Worcester and the likes. So what we'd do is our trains would come back the way the delivery vehicles are coming, along here, and then instead of heading down here where obviously our supply trains are coming from, we're just going to curve up to the right and tap into this line here. We would have to interfere with our fuel trains here, but that's fine, and I dare say we'd want to now start thinking about double tracking the entire length of this. We do have a few passing loops if you remember, but it's probably prudent at this point to make sure it's all double tracked just to avoid any potential holdups in the future. So let's make us start realizing this little plan, shall we? So by the the sawmill, not the logging camp, by the sawmill we do want a cargo station. I'm going to have 3 tracks, one obviously to service the planks and pick them up, and 2 for any eventual pass-through that we might need. And we'll also go for the maximum length at this point. We're pretty okay in terms of our finances, so we don't need to be too concerned with that. Now, which way do we want this to point? I'm going to say we'll just have it pretty much like that. We want to make sure we have an active connection here, and we will just use the smaller roads for this because I don't envisage any vehicles actually utilizing this. It really is just to make sure it has a link to the industry, which it now should do. Let's just check that, and indeed it does. So again, we'll rename this, and this will be Trenton Sawmill, and we can now start planning where our lines are going to run from and to. So what we'll do is these two lines here will come and head straight up and tap into here. Where have we gone? Have I missed it? Yes, I've gone straight past it. And then this one will be the one that we use to tap in and then branch off almost immediately to head over to our machinery factory just up there. So let's start by laying these tracks, and we want to keep them relatively straight and flat for the initial section. And we'll have a junction just there so we can get our sawmill train actually onto the collection platform. We will need a diamond, which is going to have to be in this area. In fact, we'll start laying the diamond immediately after that switch that we have just there, and we'll go for 40 miles per hour here. And there's our diamond. So now we want to start heading up so we can tap into our main freight line, which is obviously up here. So this will be quite a slow corner. Maybe if we aim for about 50 miles per hour, that should be good enough. And then this will go straight up, and we'll also have a line that comes off this way as discussed. So the first thing we want to do is actually give us access to our main freight line so we can actually get some trains down here. So this should be relatively straightforward. We have a collision issue here. You could just give yourself a bridge, you know, but what the heck, you just really don't want to give us a bridge. Maybe if we go a little bit closer and then start to elevate the track just a little. Let's see, if we go to there, that's going up to 18 meters, and if we remain at 18 meters, I'm hoping, oh, in fact it's even up to 20 meters. 20 meters is fine. That should be enough for a bridge. Indeed it is. Let's just change the bridge style for the increased speed. And then we want to go over here. Ideally we'd want that to be a bridge, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. And we'll double track it as far as there. And then what we want to do is, well, first of all, let's just quickly pause it. We want to double track this length of track here. So let's do that first, and that's all ready to go. Should be approaching. There we go. Look, there's the junction just there, so we're getting close. There we go. So now we can restart the game. The trains are happy once again. There's no confusion. Let's put a couple of extra signals in along here, because we're going to have quite a few services running down here in the not too distant future, so we'll future-proof that in terms of its blocking and its capacity. And now what we can do is bring these up to connect in. Let's give that industry there a bit of a wide berth, because we may need to tap into it in the future and we don't want to block ourselves in, and I think that should be plenty of space there. And where's our line? Okay, so what we want to do is want to curve that way a little, so we're going to lose some speed on this, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it has to be. And then we'll go to there, and then this needs to curve now back the other way, and ideally come in at the sort of height that this line is at. So let's see if we can do that without it being too ridiculous. Yeah, it's a little low. Oh, there we go. Now we're starting to snap. But we do lose a considerable amount of speed on this radius here. Well, I think we'll take it for now. We can always come back in the future and see about amending that to maybe increase the speed just a little. So what we're going to do for now is have a small stretch of quad track like this, and then between these two junctions is where we're going to bring this into the single line. I say single line, it's obviously a double track, but you know what I mean. And then if we bring this in here, yeah, speed's not great, but we are coming up to a bend, so I think that's what we're going to have to go with. And then we're going to want some signal work here and here, just to protect the junction, of course. And one there. we already have that as a clearing signal up here, so we'll just buddy those up with 2 extras on that line. And do we want another signal down here just to clear the junction? I'd say yes, and we'll put it, that might be a bit short actually. Let's just take that a fraction further forward, maybe to there. And then all we have to do now is put some signals down the length of this track towards our sawmill. Shouldn't need as many down here because not all the trains are going to be coming down here, not many lines are going to be running down here, but we'll do what we can. And I think that will do us. Right, so what we need to consider now is taking a line that branches off here and heads up this way. So where's our track? There it is. So we'll do it on this section just here. We've got a good bit of open space to work with between our signals at this point. Now can we get a nice flush overlap there? Just use Shift and M and N there just to adjust the arch of the track, and that seems a little bit more pleasant, so we'll go with that. So you're going to head off this way. Let's now allow it to start rising up, of course, because we are going to need some bridges in the not too distant future. And which way do we want to go? Yeah, if we bridge over here, then bridge over there, that's the best way, I think. So if we come at this angle here up there, we're going to lose too much speed on that corner, so I'm going to have to do it this way. So maintain your height, and here now you should start to put down some bridge work. Yes indeed. Let's just change the style again just for the speed boost. So 75 miles per hour is, well, it is perfect. We can't ask for better, not with the standard tracks anyway. And we've also got 75 on the inner radius, which is obviously a little bit tighter, so that's good to see. Now, which way do we want to be headed? We need to start, well, we need to curve even more. So let's do that. And again, we just want to make sure we stay at in and around 75 as much as possible, which thankfully so far we are managing to do here. At this point, can we go straight? Well, we can for now. So we'll have a little straight section here. Return to bridge work just here, which is fine. Still maintaining the same level height of 20 meters. And now we need to curve just a fraction, just so we miss the district of Brooklyn as much as we possibly can. And we'll do it with the inner radius first of all, because that's going to be the one with the lowest speed. And if we get 75 there, then we're guaranteed to have 75 on this outer radius, aren't we? As we can see just there. We're pretty much angled directly at this spit of land, which is what we were aiming for. Although it's not going to be it's not going to be the straightest bridge in the world, but that's fine. This bridge may need some work in the future just to raise it up in case we want to have a port facility in here. But we'll go with that for now. And now you're gonna stay as a bridge. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologise if there's a bit of a jump there. I had a phone call that I could not avoid taking, so I've taken the phone call, and yeah, we can just carry on now, so, as they say. So, where were we? Yes, laying this bridge over towards the machinery factory, wasn't it? So, here's Brooklyn. We've gone around Brooklyn, as we can see. The factory is pretty much dead ahead of us. We need to angle the train lines a little further. This bridge is getting a little excessive in terms of its length, but it is what it is. Ideally, I would have come... In fact, would it be better to... No. It's 6 2/3 really, whether it's going down there or along here, I think. So we'll stick to where we are. But at least at this point now, we can take off that forced gradient and we can revert back to terra firma and get rid of the bridge. It's quite an expansive bridge. I mean, for God's sake, it would have been just as well to go over there, wouldn't it? But there you go, we've done it now, we've built it. The date's progressed, so I've missed a few unlocks because I was on the phone, so that could be interesting if anything's been unlocked. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. So now we can think about where we want this station here for the machinery. And I'm just thinking what's going to be the best solution. And I think if we had it... where's our line? It's a bit tight, isn't it? In fact, let's have it... let's have a terminus. We'll have a terminus and we'll have three platform terminus. We've got 3 different cargoes here. We've got obviously the wood and the steel coming in, and then we have the machinery going out. So we need 3 platforms for this. And where's our track again? Just reorientate myself. If we put it somewhere like that, and then we put a road connection along the top here, like that, and then make sure it comes into contact with the machinery factory itself, which it now does. And we'll just connect that up for completion's sake. That should give us a working connection. Yeah, it does. That's all good. So we're going to call this... I know this is actually La Rochelle Machinery Factory, but we're going to call it Queen's Machinery Factory. And there. Right, so... yeah, this is going to be a little tight here, isn't it? Getting this... in fact, it's going to be very tight. Oh well, we can always rework it a little bit later if we deem it necessary. But I think we're going to be okay just for now. And I'm going to leave myself a bit of space here, because we might need to do some shenanigans with where we have our trains waiting when they're picking up the machinery, for the age-old problem of not wanting to block in any of the incoming goods while this is waiting for a full load, which it can't do. And then that old chestnut. So I'm going to leave myself a bit of room there to compensate for that in the future when the time comes. For now, we can just worry about getting some blocking in along this almighty bridge that we've put together. It's a lot longer than I had originally thought it would be. I mean, I suppose what we could do is some of these sections here where it's on dry land, here and here, and maybe even here, we could delete the track and redo it and have it as earthworks. In fact, maybe that's an idea. I might even try that. So if we say delete from there to... I'd even say go as far as there if we can. And then this bit here, we'll relay the tracks exactly as they were. But like I said, if we can go for earthworks instead... collision. Right. I'm guessing that's this section here what's causing the issue. If we take it back... no, we're still colliding. It must be this here. Right, so what we'll do is, using the flatten tool, we'll have to do a bit of terraforming here, just to give us a bit of a wider ledge here, and perhaps even around here as well, sort of like that. So we'll keep it looking as if it's meant to be, but that should hopefully give us enough then to swap out for earthworks. Yeah, there we go. And there, yep, perfect. And shall we do the same on this bit while we're here, just so it's done? What the heck, why not? Now that bridge goes back a little far there, but I think we'll be able to do a bit of magic here by having you stay level, and you can be a bridge, and then as soon as you get your feet onto dry land, which is there, we'll end that segment and then go like that. Ah yes, we got that. Okay, we're gonna have to do the same on this side. I thought we may do, but it was worth giving it a shot. So these might not line up. It's a bit wiggly now, that's the only problem here. Right, okay. Right, we're gonna do what we did before then. We're gonna do a bit of artificial terraforming and hopefully give us enough of a platform to have earthworks. Let's see. Perfect. And all this is doing, of course, it's just breaking up the length of the bridge here, because it is a bit long. Do you know what? I'm going to do the same here as well. So a little bit of terraforming may be necessary. And in fact, it probably will be, so we'll do that. Don't want to take too much away from the natural look of the land, but I think that's fine. That blends in reasonably well. This will then come out straight and level as a bridge. And then just as before, once we've got our feet onto dry land, we'll swap over. Go to earthworks. Okay, that's just a little bit too close there, isn't it? Let's try that. And can we now have a raised? Yes, we can. There. I think that looks better. It just breaks up the ridiculous length of the bridge a little. That's better, yeah. It's not going to be the straightest. It's going to be a bit curvy-worthy, but from a distance it's going to be fine. Anyway, now we can carry on putting these signals down, so we'll do that. We haven't got too far to go. Perhaps we'll have a set there and a set between these two bridges as well. And then we're going to need some, obviously, on this little bit here as we approach this junction from either direction. So if we go something like that, I think that will do us quite nicely. Okay, so in theory we should now be able to set up the train from Trenton Sawmill over to Queen's Machinery Factory. Oh, the last thing, yes, before we forget, we must put a connection onto this bit here just for, well, I say originally it's just for access purposes, but we are going to need it, of course, when we start shipping the machinery out and onwards, so this is necessary. And let's just see here, can we get a nice looking crossover? That's nice enough. 52 miles an hour is reasonable. Ideally you want a minimum of 50, so anything above that is okay, but obviously the higher the better. I mean, here we can go for full 75, which is always nice and pleasant. Less pleasant, sorry, more pleasant than that little bit of track was. And we want to keep ourselves nice and straight here. Oh, okay. We might need to rethink that. That's probably a bit too close to that track up there to give us a nice sweeping entry point. That's a little bit more like, if we go for 65, I think that is going to be ideal. And then you should be able to come in and go parallel. Go on. No, you're not going to do it. Right. We'll make you do it by doing that. Now you're going to go parallel, and you should have good speed, full speed. Excellent, excellent. You are then going to merge together like this, and we'll stretch it out for as much speed as we possibly can. 52, 55, yeah. And there. And then let's do the signals. So we'll put a signal there and there. Signal there. That can clear that way. That'll clear that way. And yeah, that can clear that way. That's fine. And shall we have maybe just a couple of blocks in here as well? As I said, eventually we are going to have trains running down here with freight on them, so we want to make sure we've got room for multiple trains if we need them. And we want a bit of signal work there. That can clear there. You can clear that way if I actually put you down. And then we'll just have one clearing that way. And I think we should be good. Okay, so now we can set up the line. I think this is the last thing we'll do in this episode. We'll get this line up and running. I've lost where I'm supposed to be. We're over here. There we go. You are bringing planks, which we'll say is that come. No, maybe a bit of a lighter shade. That's a better option. So at the sawmill, we want a full load, and we'd like you to wait as long as it takes. Loading only that, and that's it. That's all we're going to do for there. So let's name this now. RC, of course, rail cargo. This is planks freight, and this is New Jersey, New York, because we come from Trenton, which I do believe is in New Jersey, and obviously we're going to New York. Right, so that's all done. So now we can purchase a train to run this line. So all the way back up to Worcester, buy vehicles, Let's have a look. You know, we did get a new unlock. We got the 260 Mogul. No new American 440s. Which one do we want to use here? Well, it's got more power, hasn't it? So let's go for the Mogul, because why the heck not? Cargo, we're still on the 31 miles an hour, so we're not getting the full utilisation from the locomotive speed, but so be it. Give them the same sort of colour scheme. Should we go 12? That's pretty good. We want 2 of those, so 7.8 million. We have 34, so that's not an issue. Let's purchase those. Head back over to somewhere where the line is visible. There we go. Planks rate, New Jersey, New York, and away they come. So this should now start producing some planks. Obviously it's being fed the logs, as we can see, so that's working nicely. So now we should see the planks starting to be populated, and indeed there we go. The only thing we need to do very quickly is swap you onto Terminal 3. That's one we designated to where our trains are going to come and wait. So that's now done. Just have a quick look at the this line here. How is it doing? Yep, didn't expect anything less. How is Worcester doing on the food front? Okay, so now it's up to, I guess that must be 2 buildings now wanting food over here. Let's just verify that. Supply, yep, 2 right next door to one another. We have no food down there. Have the food trains made any deliveries yet? Let's just see if we can find one of them. Are they food? Yes, they are, and they have not yet made a delivery. Okay, why is that? You have reach. We have the vehicles here. These are capable of taking food. Yes, they are. The trains we are using are boxcars. They can take food, and we'll just verify that just to rule it out. Yes, they can, as we can see. So is the food not being produced, or have I messed up the line's orders? Let's head all the way back here. No, we have food production ongoing, so that's not the problem. Although it could be they've not yet picked up any orders. It could just be the timings. Well, they're going on nicely. In fact, what I'm going to do, this is the last thing I'm going to do, is these can have we'll go for the Mogul on these, because it's got that little bit more power. And what we can also do is just extend the length of the trains a little, maybe another, in fact, let's do a comparison between that and that. So obviously 31 is the best you're going to do, and yeah, should we go maybe 2? That takes us to 25 on a medium grade. Yeah, we'll add another 2, so extending them just a touch up to 12. And I think that's where we'll leave it for today, as I said. So where do we want to go for an outro? Where's the train? Let's have a look. Well, you could be sat for a while there, so we'll not use you. Let's just jump on this train here, shall we? And we'll have a little ride. I don't know how far we're going to go. I always make promises that we're going to go X distance, and I always cut it short. So we'll just say no promises. We'll see where we get to, shall we? So I hope you enjoyed the episode, as always. And if you did, please feel free to consider hitting that thumbs up button. If you haven't yet done so, also consider subscribing, because it really does help, and it is greatly appreciated indeed. But for now, all that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, you take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.